All right, we're going to do a layout tour, but here's first Barbie. Barbie's pregnant. Barbie's going to have a bunch of little chi-has. And we get Doug down here. And Doug's a great catcher. He'd probably make a good shortstop. As you can see, he just got that. And Barbie will just let it drop and then take and run off with it. But anyway, we're going to do a tour of the Maine Central Lower Road because I think there's a lot of people that haven't seen it. So a lot of people have viewed it, but anyway, this is the Maine Central Lower Road, and that line coming out from the darkness there is coming from lower level staging, and there's 3 tracks underneath the section we're going to go over here in a minute, but and then on the other side of the room there's another 3 tracks, so I have 6 total staging tracks, and they are 3 of them are serial with the other 3. And this is Yarmouth Junction, so this is one of the last areas that are all scenic. There's actually a light back behind there, I just haven't turned it on, so that will actually have scenery all the way around to there. And you come through Yarmouth Junction, and that'll all be hidden by trees there. That's to be staging for the Canadian National. And you come out of Yarmouth Junction, you go all the way down here is Sodom siding. Really was a separate siding, but I'm only having one. I've got a couple of culverts in this section here coming out. Then I have hillside siding. And hillside is on a grade coming up to it, and then hillside siding is the longest siding on the lower level, and this allows me to have a freight from Rigby or Bangor be able to pass local freights, and as you can see, it goes all the way around here. The other part about hillside siding is I have deep cut up here, which was at the top of a grade coming out of Brunswick, and this was an actual operational problem for the Maine Central sometimes, where cars or trains had to be helped or double the hill or whatever. So that'll come into some of those operating sessions later on. And then we come down this track all the way to the back corner of the room over here, and what you see are those little opera windows is the lower level staging on this side. This wall is 28 feet, so the staging underneath is about 25 foot for each track. There's 3 tracks underneath there. We come around here into Brunswick Yard, which I am doing actual work on it right now. I've added all the ballast into it in the last week. I'm getting ready to do the scenery here. I'm getting ready to do this maintenance track or rip track right here with that A-frame. Putting the roads in here. I use Fast and Final for the roads, so I've just started putting those road pieces in right there. And then you come in here to East Brunswick Yard. Excuse the mess because I'm in the middle of construction, and there's an actual Y right here, and that Y is the Y that goes off to Lewiston Lower. And right here there's going to be the Brunswick Freight House, or when I'm doing 1953 sections we'll have the Brunswick Station here, so we'll either have one or the other depending on what era we're doing. And then the train comes around this way out of Brunswick, and right here there's a junction. It's the junction to the Rockland branch, and the Rockland branch is not on the layout other than this line that goes underneath into a station there. The other line on the back there, that's the Lewiston Lower branch, which goes behind the helix, and then we have the actual helix itself, which the lower road goes into up to Richmond. So before we go up to Richmond, we're going to go over here on the Lewiston Lower branch, and this is a bridge going across the I can't remember the name of the river now. Anyway, and this bridge in this setup is pretty much like it is in real life, and I tried to get the river to bend around behind it so that it actually goes up in the back there, and we'll put a mirror in someday to get some kind of reflection. It used to have a road that went underneath it. I thought about doing that, but the decision to get it operating rather than try to finish that bridge with the road underneath made me just forget about adding the road underneath the main bridge. And this is a 295 going over. This is the mill at Pajeepscott, or the Pajeepscott Mill. In order to fit it, I had to rotate it or flip it 180 degrees because the way the layout just came out, it just went that way. And up here in the top is the Lisbon Falls track, and there's the station and the freight house. Both of those are scratch built. And then I have the branch that goes down, or the siding that goes down to the Pajeepscott Mill. Then come around here, and then there's a board mill that's going to be in here. I originally had the board mill going down that wall off to the down down that way down there, but I've taken that out and just made it a little bit smaller right here. This is actual removable section right here, so the mill's going to be on a section that I can basically unbolt and pull out of the way if I have to get access into this side of the room for whatever reason. And then we come into Lewiston Lower. Lewiston Lower had these canals that were used to power the industries. Cedar Street Yard. All this trackage is as close as I can get it to the actual trackage in Lewiston Lower, just shorten a little bit. And these builds either been kit bashed or scratch built or put together with DPM to give me the Lewiston Lower look. There's the engine house that was made out of the freight house. There's the actual yards tracks. And so that's Lewiston Lower. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back across the room here. We just made an inverted U, or a U around there. Again, I was talking about the helix, and that helix goes up. And if you look over here, you can see in the helix there that there's actually two tracks in there. There's the track that goes over to East Augusta, and there's the track here that comes out and goes to Richmond. So Richmond comes around. It's the longest siding on the upper level. So here, if I'm building my trains right, I can pass a freight in here around a local, have a feed dealer and a coal dealer here, and there's the engine, or not engine now, but operator's office. Not that it really had one, but anyway, that's my railroad. And there's the pulp siding. It comes around here. Got a little farm scene I've put in here. And then this is the upper level, and again, that piece right there that goes across is a lift out section or a pull out section, so that if I have to get something big through here, like a refrigerator for the kitchen, because I have a kitchen down here, I can pull that out. So stuff that I haven't quite finished up, I'm going to do some more tractoring there. So then we come out of Richmond and we go to Gardner. So that little loop around the corner changes going into Gardner. And this trackage is, again, similar to the trackage in Gardner. At least it's from the track diagrams that I have, so I've tried to simulate as close as I can. The oil dealer's not quite the right side, which should actually be on the other side close to the river, but anyway, it fits better there. And then we have Gardner Station. This is a Walther station I cut in half to fit. Close enough, I just didn't feel like scratch building the Gardner Station. And then I put some other industries in here that were served by the Maine Central. So you got the Gardner Freight House, the Swift meat plant, and then Samuel Neiman and Sons, and then there's a team track. Now what I've done here, because this is the main entry into the basement from the stairs or from the back door, I've got a fold down bridge right there. So that folds up, and when it's in operation, it goes across in here and the tracks go under. And this up here is Caboose-Conti branch. So up here we're going to have a paper mill, we're going to have Wilbur Lumber and Hardware, which is named after my dad, the Harvey Distributors on that right there, and then T.W. Dix will be out here on this curve going around here. It will actually be served from the street just like it was in real life. So this is, again, something where I had to basically swap 180 degrees or flip the actual industry just to make it fit. And there's the main line coming around. That's the actual 4% grade going up from the main line. There's a big intersection that'll go in here and a overpass and stuff, and there's the road coming down to it. I've got all these side rails or guard rails I got to put in. This is what you saw in the video that I put out here earlier this week, coming around this curve. Going to be a pond river scene right here with kids bathing and stuff like that, and there'll be a lot more trees. Obviously, I just got to do them. They just take time. And then so you come out of Gardner and we come down to Hollowell. So again, there's a feed distributor or some kind of Purina plant in Hollowell. At least there is in the pictures I've seen. I never saw it myself, but I had to make this one again, flip it from the other side just because to make it fit the configuration in the house. And over here we're going to have the stone cutter shed for the granite quarry, the Hollowell station, which is scratch built for the actual freight station. Then a grocery distributor right here. There is a fuel oil distributor. I've called it Texaco just because I like the star, and I happen to have that little fuel truck to go with it. And then behind there is the armory. Now again, this is somewhat fictitious. There was an armory, and they did take some traffic off of the railroad, but I've made it more of a working industry. And you come through here, road going over there, I've got a bridge I've got to put in there, and there's a lot more trees that has to go in here. There's going to be some houses up here on these hills, and I've got one sitting there in place, but there's going to be another one on this hill, and this is going to be a completely forested hill. And then we come around here, we have a hardware distributor, Munden and Sons, which is named after my wife. And so I've got more work to do here with the parking lot and stuff like that. That little hillside there is going to be covered with trees fully too. And then we have, we're in Augusta right now. This is Hollowell, Augusta, whatever you want to call it. There was two big box buildings that were served by sidings here, which I have shown or put in here. The other one is Consolidated Grocers. And on the layout when I operate it, they actually are quite busy with traffic. And then we have the actual Augusta trackage. And again, this is taken from the diagram, so I've built it based on the diagrams, the siding diagrams, the Maine Central siding diagrams. And you come around here, there's two tracks all the way around here. And then I think you guys have seen some of this stuff up here. This is the Route 202 bridge, or the Kennebec Memorial Bridge. I have a bunch of trains sitting here that I did the other day. I've got the concrete retaining wall there. Right up here, I haven't decided yet, but there may be the state capitol dome. I may put it up in here. I've got it copied on, and I just haven't printed it out, and we'll see how it looks. But this whole hillside, as you can see right there, is going to be tree filled the whole way along there. And then we have the Augusta Freight House. I'd love to be able to do this freight house, but I just don't have the room to put it in here, but I may build the building anyway, and just because I want to. Obviously got to do a lot with this overpass bridge and stuff right here. This area back here will be where the Augusta station goes, or a parking lot, depending on whether I'm doing a 1979 operating session or a 1950s operating session. These buildings are all just stand-ins on the wall here. These are buildings that I'm going to have down on the River Street. There's going to be two roads going up in here. I'll work on them soon. And then we have the trackage that goes over there, and there's a big brick building that this track went behind over there in real life in Augusta. I'm just not sure what it was. I got to do more research on that. But and then we're going to have the bridge going across here. Now this is a temporary piece in here right now. I'm going to build the actual two-track bridge, in which only one track was being used in the 70s. And so that's just the way it's going to be. And I'm going to make that a little bit deeper so I can get more of a, I'll probably drop it about 2 inches below the actual bottom of the benchwork here, and so I can get the full effect of the bridge, because it's a deck bridge. And over here we have Kennebec Spirits, O'Connor's Scrap, the Kennebec Journal, again, businesses that were actually served by the railroad. And then we have the other paper mill on the railroad. So I've got three paper mills on the railroad. I've got the paper mill here, I've got the paper mill on the Bustamante branch, and then I have the paper mill at Pejipscot. So again, this is all going back into the helix. Also have a propane dealer. This is probably a little bit farther down the line, but to fit it in here, I put it right across from the paper mill. And then you go into here, and you have the helix going down. Now this track goes down to the helix underneath the Brunswick Yard. The helix goes down there, and there's the three tracks for station there. And then I have a camera, or I have cameras that actually show all these hidden staging yards when we're operating. So that's the layout tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Doug and Barbie got their treats, and they've abandoned me. Anybody have a great day.